This is the story of the man that walked through his country and the one about the man that walked ahead of his time. In 1973, Carlos Andrés Pérez will look forward to get the presidency of Venezuela. But the challenge will not be that easy. Lorenzo Fernández will be right in front of him, the candidate of the political party in turn. Very strong thanks to the good administration of the president, Rafael Caldera. Pérez would need the biggest talent to defeat Fernández. His decision was between the two most known political consultants, Matt Reese and Joe Napolitan, two old friends that worked together on John F. Kennedy presidential campaign in 1960. Napolitan or Reese? Reese or Napolitan? Pérez decided for Joe Napolitan, but destiny will be in charge of putting Reese in his way.
Aló, señor Reese, ¿cómo está? Espero que esté muy bien. Queremos que usted haga la campaña del candidato Lorenzo Fernández.
Reese would be on the Venezuelan election, but not on Napolitan and Pérez's side. He will be with the opposition. The confrontation was defined. Fernández and Reese on one side, armed with the good administration of Caldera. On the other side, Pérez and Napolitan armed with audacity. The most brilliant consultants. Two popular candidates. It looked like the ideal ingredients gathered to have an epic battle. Both armies are ready, face to face, with the artillery of their ideas. Yet before the battle started, most of the people placed their bet that the balance would go on Fernández's side, because how can someone defeat the one with the backing of a beloved president like Caldera? His popularity was that huge that some years after, he was re-elected. Napolitan needed to design the perfect strategy to move the balance on his side. He worked and meditated for long hours. He walked along Venezuela's neighborhoods, talked to the people, and he came to understand people's feelings.
No, señor, vale, ¿qué va a hacer? Los políticos no saben lo que queremos. Los políticos viven allá en su mundo, viven bien, son ricos. Y nosotros estamos acá, en el pueblo, somos pueblo. Ellos no nos conocen. Ellos siempre andan allá y prometen en sus campañas y ya después se olvidan de uno.
He noticed that the candidates were far away from their people. They were used to doing campaigns from the comfort of their luxury cars and never getting close to the people. Therefore, Napolitan decided that Carlos Andrés Pérez has to get out of his car. And he would, for the first time in history, do a presidential campaign walking, getting close to the people with his body, but most of all, with his heart.
Señor Pérez, gracias por estar aquí en medio de nosotros. Usted es uno más de nosotros. Usted es un venezolano, uno más de nosotros. Muchas gracias, señor Pérez.
Thanks to Napolitan, Carlos Andrés Pérez was walking through streets, avenues, through rich and poor neighborhoods, populated and deserted, in all the cities, jungles, and beaches of Venezuela. Thanks to Napolitan, Pérez walked through paths where no one else walked before. Thanks to Napolitan, Pérez was walking with enormous steps, getting closer to the presidency of his country. The campaign was going perfect, but Joe Napolitan was still planning one last masterstroke. Pérez turned into the walking man, but could his step reach every corner of Venezuela? Impossible. That was a common thought. However, Napolitan imagined the way of making this possible. With the help of thousands of young volunteers, millions of footprints were left on the streets, walls, and even roofs of Venezuela. Napolitan made that the footprints of Carlos Andrés Pérez reached every corner of the country, and it became the talk of the town.
Yo no había visto antes que alguien se bajara Andaba caminando por los barrios.
Oye, yo también lo vi en las noticias.
Es impresionante.
La alegre multitud que acompaña a Carlos Andrés en su caminata se reúne en una extraordinaria concentración para oír la palabra del candidato de Acción Democrática. En su intervención, Carlos Andrés desarrolla aspectos de su programa de gobierno y ratifica ante la emocionada multitud su propósito de combatir la pobreza con una política de pleno empleo para todos los venezolanos.
People who lived through this experience said that Fernandez's campaign never really had a chance, because from the first step, Carlos Andrés Pérez took the advantage by leaps and bounds. Napolitan gave the absolute victory to his candidate. Carlos Andrés Pérez won the presidency walking. That epic battle that everybody was expecting never happened. Or at least, no one remembers it. But what remains on everyone's mind until this day is the memory of the man that walked. And on the memory of the political consultants, the legacy of the man that was ahead of his time will remain. This is just one of the biggest achievements of Joe Napolitan. But there are many, many more. His legacy will keep moving, as his genius was not only on the campaigns he led. Just like other great minds in history are present, in some way, through all new creations that could be made thanks to their work, Joe Napolitan is and will be present in all the big political campaigns that were, are, and will be, thanks to his legacy.